Guys, it's Pastor Yummy with Life 360 Weston, and today we are on Matthew chapter 20. And as you remember from yesterday, in Matthew chapter 19, Jesus is teaching about the last will be first and the first will be last. So he continues this in chapter 20. As you know, when the Bible was written, it wasn't written chapter 1, chapter 2, there were no chapters. Those were added much later. So they're good for our reference, but just keep in mind, this was one writing, one letter, if you would, one account, and so it wasn't divided originally by the original author. So with that in mind, let's go on with chapter 20. It begins like this. For the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire workers for his vineyard. He agreed to pay them a denarius for the day and sent them into the vineyard. So, just a standard practice that happens at that time and still happens today. When during the harvest, the farmer may need extra help, so he goes out. They decide, okay, this is a fair wage, and they agree upon it and start to work. So, verse 3, about 9 in the morning he went out and saw others standing in the marketplace doing nothing. So he told them, you also go, work in my vineyard, and I will pay you whatever is right. So they went. He went out again about noon and about 3 in the afternoon and did the same thing. About 5 in the afternoon, now this is just 1 hour before they were going to stop working. About 5 in the afternoon, he went out and found still others standing around and asked them, why have you been standing here all day long and doing nothing? Verse 7, because no one has hired us, they answered. He said to them, you also go and work in my vineyard. Verse 8, when evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to his foreman, call the workers and pay them their wages, beginning with the last ones hired, going on to the first. So the workers who were hired about 5 in the afternoon came and each received a denarius. Now, remember, a denarius is like what they decided upon for the workers who worked a full day, maybe 12 hours. So, verse 10, so when those came who were hired first, they expected to receive more, but each one of them also received a denarius. When they received it, they began to grumble against the landowner. Those who were hired last worked only for 1 hour, they said, and you have made them equal to us who have borne the burden of the work and in the heat of the day. But he answered one of them, I am not being unfair to you. Friend, he says, I'm not being unfair to you, friend. Didn't you agree to work for a denarius? Take your pay and go. I want to give the one who was hired last the same as I gave you. Don't I have the right to do what I want with my own money? Or are you envious because I am generous? So the last will be first and the first will be last. Wow. What do you guys think about that? I mean, what would you do? Would you have been a little bit angry? You worked the full day and then somebody works for only an hour and gets the same pay? Wow. Well, you can see the point of the landowner. The landowner is like God, and God has grace and mercy upon who he wants to. And did the landowner in this story, did he do anything wrong? Well, it's his money. He paid the first people what they agreed upon. And the other people, I mean, he does have the right to do what he wants to with his own money. Now, of course, today in the society in which we live, there are different laws regarding probably fair pay, for that the workers who do the same work at your company need to be fairly compensated. So maybe it wouldn't work today, but the principle is still the same. The landowner has the right to do what he wants to with his own money. Maybe today, if you don't want to use, if this example is just blowing your mind, can't understand it for today, you could understand that how about your boss decided to just give a special gift to one of the employees and it wasn't you? He does have the people have the right to give gifts as they will. And so Jesus is saying he has the right as God, as the creator, to give generously to those he wants to. So I just pray for all of us that we just appreciate, I pray for myself that I just appreciate what God has given me and not look and see, well, it looks like he's giving others more than me. Well, maybe he is. But that my concern is just to glorify him, to be thankful for what he has given me. So, let's go on to verse 17. Now Jesus was going up to Jerusalem. On the way, he took the 12 aside and said to them, "We are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be delivered over to the chief priests and the teachers of the law. They will condemn him to death, and he will hand him over to the Gentiles to be mocked and flogged and crucified. On the third day he will be raised to life." Okay, so now Jesus yet again is now clearly spelling out what will happen, and that they are starting to the disciples are starting to realize, wow, they don't totally understand what he's saying, even though he's spelling it out. But I think they're really starting to understand something just very, very bad in their mind is going to happen soon. Okay, now even with that in the backdrop, then in verse 20, then the mother of Zebedee's sons came to Jesus with her sons, kneeling down, asked him a favor. "What is it that you want?" he asked. She said, "Grant that one of these two sons of mine may sit at your right and the other at the left in your kingdom." So she, like any good mother, she wants the best for her boys. "You don't know what you're asking," Jesus said to them. "Can you drink the cup I am going to drink?" And they answered, "We can." Verse 23, Jesus said to them, "You will indeed drink from my cup, but to sit at my right or left is not for me to grant. These places belong for those to whom they have been prepared by my Father." So now, when the other 10 heard about this, they were indignant with the two brothers for even asking such a question. I mean, how about the rest of them? Jesus called them together and said, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be your slave, just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." So, wow, he is really telling them, I get how it is in the kingdom of God and the reality of it. Now, they should have known this. I mean, you can think of, there's several in the Psalms and Proverbs, there's several scriptures that address this very issue, that as far as humility goes, that pride comes before a fall and humility before honor. There's just Proverbs, even things in the Old Testament that speak to this, that they should know. And so, wow, I think this was a wake-up call for them. I think it could be a wake-up call for us. I mean, we can still be that way with other brothers and sisters, even just trying to be the greatest among people. I mean, trying to honor ourselves more than we honor others. So I think that is something that we can all think about. So let's go on to verse 29. As Jesus and his disciples were leaving Jericho, a large crowd followed them. Two blind men were sitting by the roadside, and when they heard that Jesus was going by, they shouted, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on us." The crowd rebuked them and told them to be quiet. They shouted all the louder, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on us." Jesus stopped and called out to them. "What do you want me to do for you?" he asked. "Lord," they said, "we want our sight." Jesus had compassion on them, and he touched their eyes, and immediately they received their sight and followed him. So what a great way to end this chapter. Jesus is still healing people, has compassion on them. They cried out to him, and he stopped. Even though the other people were saying, "No, don't bother him," just as before, like in the last chapter with the little children. The disciples were saying, "Don't bother the master with these children." And the same thing here. It's like these blind men, they've been, who knows, maybe were blind their whole life, and the people are used to it. The people are used to these blind men just being there. But they heard what Jesus could do, and they were saying, "No, this is our chance. We are going to cry out to Jesus." And they did. And I go back to that that verse that we read. I can't remember the chapter, but when we read in Matthew, in this book, that the kingdom of God suffers violence and the violent take it by force. I think this is an example. These people, they are crying out radically, if you would, in a radical way. We want our sight. If they didn't do that, they would not have received their sight. So we need to be just as passionate about approaching Jesus, about the kingdom of God, as these blind men were. They wanted their sight. So that's my prayer for me and for you today, is that we passionately cry out for Jesus and say, "Jesus, we want you. Yes, we want to be healed, but we want you more than anything, even more than our healing, but we want you." And it's not wrong to ask for healing. We want healing, but primarily we want you, Jesus. That is the prize. So we cry out to you today, Lord, and just draw us closer. I pray for everyone hearing my voice that they will be drawn close to your presence and just have a greater desire to love you, to worship you today. So, guys, thank you for being with me today. This was Wednesday in our week. We are going through the New Testament in 1 year. So we're not quite at the 6-month mark, but we are working our way through. And we hope you can meet with us. This Saturday, we won't be at Haley's. We're going to do something a little different this month. We'll be meeting at a home here in Weston, 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. So we hope you can join us. Please email or call me, text me if you need information about that. So that was Matthew 20. We will be on Matthew 21 tomorrow. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.